I still remember that fateful day as if it were yesterday. I was only a young man in the village of Obodo Ncheta, a humble community nestled among rolling hills and ancient groves in Igbo land, when I witnessed an event that changed my understanding of our traditions and the spirit of nature forever. It was early in the season of the yam harvest, when the village was bustling with preparations for the new yam festival. The air was thick with the aroma of roasted corn, the sweet scent of freshly pounded fufu, and the lively chatter of elders exchanging kola nuts and blessings. Amid this vibrant scene, a murmur of worry began to spread through the market square. A little boy named Chidibere, known for his boundless curiosity and mischievous grin, had vanished near the edge of the village. I recall the moment as I sat outside the thatched hut of my uncle, listening to the rhythmic beating of the talking drum during the evening rites. Suddenly, Mrs. Ngozi, Chidibere's mother, burst through the gathering, tears streaking her face. "My child, Chidibere, he has gone into the forbidden forest," he cried. The forbidden forest, or Oka Nkiti, as our elders called it, was a dense, mysterious woodland that bordered our lands. For generations, our people had spoken in hushed tones about its secrets and the ancestral spirits that dwelled within, warning us never to disturb its sacred silence. I, along with a few brave souls, hurried towards the forest's edge. The sun was beginning its descent, casting long, eerie shadows over the land. The forest loomed before us like a vast, dark sea of ancient trees, their gnarled branches twisting into strange, almost human shapes. I could feel a shiver run down my spine, a mix of awe and trepidation, as the elders recited protective incantations, calling upon Chukwu and the ancestral guardians to watch over the lost child. We began a cautious search, our torches barely piercing the impenetrable darkness under the thick canopy. I remember how the rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl seemed to carry hidden messages. As we ventured deeper, I noticed unusual footprints along the muddy trail, small, delicate impressions that didn't belong to any adult in our village. They were the marks of a child, yet they were accompanied by larger, more deliberate prints of an unknown creature. Hours passed as we combed through the underbrush. The forest felt alive with whispers and unseen presences, each sound and movement heightening our anxiety. I, who had always believed in the old stories, began to wonder if the forest itself was guiding us, leading us to some hidden truth. Then, as night fell and we nearly lost hope, a soft, melodic sound reached our ears. A sound like the gentle rustling of wind through tall grasses, but imbued with a strange, otherworldly quality. Following that sound, we came upon a small clearing, bathed in a silvery moonlight. There, in the center of the clearing, stood Chidibere. He sat quietly on a smooth, moss-covered stone, his eyes wide with wonder rather than fear. I stepped forward slowly, calling softly, "Chidibere, my child, come with us." But the boy did not immediately rise. Instead, he turned his head toward an old, wise tortoise that was slowly making its way across the clearing. The tortoise, with its heavy, ancient shell and eyes that held centuries of wisdom, seemed to regard the child with gentle understanding. It was as if the tortoise had been waiting for him all along. In that surreal moment, I felt a deep stirring in my soul, a connection to the stories of our ancestors. I recalled the words of our village elder, who once said, "The forest speaks in silence and guides those who listen." As I watched, the tortoise nudged Chidibere with its head, and the child slowly stood up. With a tentative smile, he took a few steps toward the creature, as if accepting its silent counsel. Then, as if choreographed by fate, the clearing filled with other subtle signs of the forest's benevolence. A soft breeze carrying the faint scent of wild jasmine, the distant murmur of a waterfall hidden deep within, and the appearance of delicate fireflies that danced like living stars around us. The guardians of the forest, mysterious yet kind, seemed to be offering us a silent promise that the forest would not harm the child. Instead, it was teaching him something profound. Later that night, under the flickering light of our campfire, outside the forest's edge, Mrs. Ngozi recounted the events with trembling voice and tears of both relief and lingering fear. I had prayed to our ancestors all day, asking for Chidibere's safe return. When I saw him emerging from that darkness, I knew the spirits had watched over him, she whispered. I could hardly sleep that night. The images of the clearing, the wise tortoise, and the gentle guidance of nature haunted me with their beauty and mystery. I realized that the Forbidden Forest was not merely a place of superstition or dread. It was a living, breathing part of our heritage, a realm where nature and spirit intertwined in ways that defied our everyday understanding. In the following days, the village buzzed with new tales. Some said that Chidibere had been chosen by the forest spirits to learn the old ways, to become a keeper of our forgotten lore. Others believed that his encounter with the wise tortoise was a sign that he would one day become a great storyteller, passing on the wisdom of the ancestors to future generations. As time went on, Chidibere grew older, and the memory of that night became a cherished part of our collective identity. I often find myself reflecting on the lessons of that journey. The forest, in its quiet majesty, had revealed to us that life is a tapestry woven from both the seen and unseen, the tangible and the mysterious. It reminded me that our traditions are not relics of a bygone era, but living, breathing practices that continue to guide us, even in the modern world. To this day, whenever I walk along the dusty paths of Obodo Ncheta, I can almost hear the soft whisper of the forest, urging me to remember and respect the old ways. I share this tale with all who will listen, not as a legend, but as a true account of what I witnessed, a real-life experience steeped in the customs, faith, and spirit of our people. And so, dear listener, if you ever find yourself at the edge of your own forbidden forest, take a moment to listen. You might just hear the echoes of our ancestors, guiding you with gentle wisdom, just as they once guided little Chidibere that unforgettable night.